this was the most amazing thing I found today, was the fact, you know, that we got the most perfecting veil just from a pressed powder, which costs £5. By soaking up brush. Sat there looking at myself, sorry, beautiful ones. Very vain. No, I'm not. But I suppose I am a little bit. Right, okay. Just stop this, okay. Dime qué es lo que esperas. Dime qué quieres ver. Hello, beautiful ones. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Joseph. It's really lovely to meet you. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Now, before we start today's makeup tutorial, guys, what do you think? Better, worse than the old Downton Abbey thing I did for my very first video, you know, the one where I claim that I think I'm living in Downton Abbey or Buckingham Palace or some such fantasy, which I tend to live in quite a regular basis. But a few of you out there said it was a little bit distracting, and my shirt clashed violently with the background too. So I've had a bit of a rethink, a bit of a reshuffle on the House of Joseph, and this is what, now that's not a tea towel, by the way, guys. I know it looks like an old tea towel. It's not. It's a print. It's an ethnic. It's actually woven. Do you know what I mean? And that's the Indian one there. So if that's more acceptable to you out there, could you let me know in the comments? That would be amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Why do I keep doing that? Okay, I better stop it now. Okay, I better edit this bit out. Right. And guys, whilst we're on the theme of filling pores in, you know, enlarged pores, open pores, any sort of visible pores on your skin, which are unsightly and ugly, aren't they, beautiful ones? I think they are anyway. I don't know whether, well, the beauty world considers them as being unattractive. So we have to try and do something to eliminate them or airbrush them away, don't we, guys? So today we're going to be doing an experiment. I've never done this before, and I only thought of doing this yesterday. So, and this is the Revolution. This is the dual powder, the IRL or in real life powder. This has got a loose powder and a pressed powder. I don't know whether you can see that. It's got IRL on the written, stamped in it, or you didn't need to know that, guys, did you? No, you didn't. And a funky little compartment down here, which you just take off, and there's the loose powder. So this is a pressed powder and a loose powder in one, utterly translucent, so it's white, although it won't appear white on the skin, obviously. I would quite like today's tutorial to be as tip heavy as possible, so I'll be giving you tips left, right and centre. They'll be coming at you from all angles, guys, so if that's okay with you. Thank you so much to Amanda Young for suggesting that I don't consign this to the rubbish heap just yet, because obviously I'd quite like to hold on to things, because I'm finding different ways of using them other than the ways they were intended, or the way they were intended to be used. This is the E.L.F. Poreless Putty Primer, and I thought today we could maybe try mixing it with the Revolution powder, either the loose or the pressed powder side of this one, and which is something I've been meaning to do for ages, is to try this wet. Slapping it onto this old face wet. It may turn me into a Phantom of the Opera or something like that, or it may just make me look amazing. Do you know what I mean? So it's worth a try, isn't it? And this isn't silicone based, so I don't think it will work, but it's today's experiment anyway. So in today's experiment, guys, we'll be mixing these two together to make our own pore filling primer, or pore filler basically, and I'll be trying this with a wet brush. How does that sound? Okay. Talk about the E.L.F. Poreless Putty Primer. Now, I did fail this because I found it a little bit too, it didn't do what it claimed to do, but with hindsight and retrospect, I don't think I applied it properly. So we're going to give this another look at this today. So, and what I thought we should do is to start off with my, my pore filling technique anyway, just to see whether this is better than this one. This is very matte though, whereas this one I remember being quite shiny. So, however, yesterday I did play with it a little bit, and I noticed that it does fill in the pores on your nose quite well. So that's got you beautiful ones in a little bit closer. So let's just do the technique, shall we? So let's get some of that one on my finger, and we're just going to tap it on. Well, first of all, you need to put it on the skin, so you can smooth or sweep or do whatever you want to get it onto your skin, and then start tapping. And all we're doing here is pushing this into the pores. I will link this video, the video I did, into the description. Anyway, you've got pores on your face. This will make them look, not invisible, because, you know, nothing can eliminate the look of pores totally, because they're there, aren't they? That should do for one application. Now, I do remember with this one, because I threw the box away, sadly, but I know you need to leave it for 30 seconds to set down, but just clean fingers. We'll leave it for a minute, shall we, while I tidy up Stoshy, and back in 30 seconds, guys. So now, beautiful ones, that's set down. It's been a minute or so. So just rub your finger over it, and that helps it set or bond with your skin a little bit better than if we didn't rub our finger over it. Helps to push it into the pores even more. So now we need to go in with layer 2, or application 2. Again, get exactly the same amount you got before. A little bit more if you want. Can you see that on the end of my finger? Put the lid on him, otherwise, well, you know what will happen, don't you guys? Your regular viewers to my channel will also be aware how cursed I am with accidents. So, and all we're going to do this time with the second layer is just to smooth it onto the skin, and all that's doing is just sealing off the top layer, the top of the pores. Because if you think about that, the pores have now been filled with the Poreless Putty primer to a certain degree. Obviously, as I said, nothing can fill them in 100%. And by going in with a second layer, we are in effect just smoothing off the surface to give us the best canvas for what comes next, basically. Again, beautiful ones, give the Poreless Putty primer 30 seconds to set down. I like to give it a little bit longer, a minute to 2 minutes. The only issue I have with it, it's quite greasy, isn't it? I put my cup of tea over there. It's quite shiny, and it's not invisible either on the skin. It's got quite a white sort of opaque look to it. Although I suppose if you're going to be going in with foundation, it doesn't matter really, does it? But for my needs, obviously, why do I keep saying obvious? It's not obvious to anyone out there apart from me. Is it because I know what I'm going to be saying? But apologies. I'll try to curb the old obviously's. Yeah, what am I going to say instead of obviously? So beautiful ones, that's the second layer, and that's, oh wow, that does feel quite nice on the skin, I must say. And I remember that from my review, which I'll link into the description too. Although I'm not convinced to buy this primer, and I'm still not convinced by it because I think it's not invisible on the skin, as I've just said, and it can be a little bit shiny as well. But having said that, what do you think? Now then, beautiful ones, now that's in effect has sort of filled in my pores, we're going to try the experiment. So get yourself a bowl full of water. Here's one of my little china bowls, and a brush, foundation brush, and your pressed powder, which we're going to be using the Revolution today, aren't we? And as I said before, the top, can't get it open now. There we go, it just opens up naturally. Do you know what I mean? I'm struggling with it for hours and hours and hours, and suddenly it just decides to open, but it's just me, guys. Right. There's no guarantees this is going to work though, beautiful ones, so keep fingers crossed, please. Now my foundation brush is soaking wet, but what you need to do is just to dab the excess water off him. And as I said, I've never done this before, so it could end in disaster. But so we're going to create a paste like we did with every other powder foundation I use. Wow, can you see it's kicking up quite a lot? Doesn't matter though, guys, does it? Sorry, I should be showing you what I'm doing, shouldn't I? And all I'm aiming for here is to get that sort of velvety but invisible look. That should be plenty for our first application, shouldn't it? And again, I'll start on my nose. Ah. Wow. Yep. I think we may be successful, beautiful ones. Can you see how it's mattified my skin, but made my skin look perfect at the same time, hasn't it? It's given my skin a very even sort of velvety sort of look. Just do the end of the old schnufter. Right, very, very pleased with that. Now, what I need to do is, in between each application, re-soak your brush. Put some on the forehead, and this brush I've just re-soaked, that I've just asked you beautiful ones to do. I don't tell, I ask. Do you know what I mean? Very polite I am, because I am, well, I'm Welsh, I'm not actually English, but what am I talking about? So there's even more on there now. So let's get some on that old forehead, shall we? And I don't prep my skin when I'm doing this sort of thing for you guys out there. No moisturizer, no nothing, just bare virgin skin. And as it goes on, it is obviously wet, but as it dries, hoping it bonds with the skin and, creates that sort of second skin look that we're all after, aren't we, guys? And I do this just basically because I personally believe that we can there's more than one way to use a product, and by using water or mixing foundations in with moisture. Do you know what I mean? Moisturizers, you can make skin tints, and it's a passion of mine, and I'm very, very passionate about that. So just keep blending it, guys, until until you can start to feel it dry on your skin, and then at that stage, it's ready for you to. And this creates like a veil. Do you know what I mean? A veil, guys, a beautiful sort of perfecting veil, which doesn't look powdery at all, does it? But provides some coverage. Not like, we're not talking full-on coverage here. This isn't a foundation. What we're doing here is just wetting a pressed powder, in effect, aren't we? To create a perfecting veil. I think it's worked. I put my glasses on, have an inspection. Wow. Wow, wow, look at my pores, guys. That's incredible, isn't it? Wow. I had some really deep pores around my nose, which were causing little black holes. Do you know what I mean? And you could actually see them. They were scars from previous acne and blackheads and stuff, which thankfully I don't have anymore. But they were quite unsightly and quite ugly in my opinion. But wow, that has just that's made them go, isn't it? They've just vanished, guys. And look at that area there. Lots of texture there usually for me, but I'm really, really, really pleased with that now. So the only thing this technique won't do is to give you length of wear. So this will only last maybe an hour to 2 hours. So perhaps for a special event, red carpet, Christmas parties are coming up, aren't they, guys? If you don't want that thick, cakey sort of makeup look, you just want something ultra natural, which could make your skin look airbrushed, make pores disappear, then soak your powder before. And I guess this is the only powder I've ever tried this with, and this is the only powder, loose powder and pressed powder I own. The other powders I own are foundation powders. So, but yeah, very, very, very pleased with that. So should we now try mixing some powder with some primer and just see whether that is any better than the E.L.F. one on its own? Should we try that? Why not? Right, beautiful ones. What I've been doing for the past few minutes is just, and my brush is soaking wet again, is just loading some onto the back of my hand, creating that paste we're after, and just, and what I'm aiming to do here is just to add a little bit of dimension to the primer, just so it gives us something to actually put inside the pores. Can you? I don't know if you're going to see. Why did I put it there? You can see that there, can't you? Right. So beautiful ones, get a good amount of your poreless primer. Not that much, man. That should do, shouldn't it? And you can see that there, can't you? Let's just blend them two together. It's not, oh yeah, it is. I was going to say it's not accepting the powder very well, but, and then just tap it onto your nose. There's not very much here at all, so I guess it hasn't, I guess I needed to make a little bit more, which, you can do quite simply, guys. And pat that one in. Are you all okay, beautiful one? Sorry, I haven't asked you that yet today. How remiss of me. Not doing my job properly. Well, it's not my job to ask you. I just like to know that you're all okay. Do you know what I mean? And once you've put the paste and primer mixture on your face, just give it, the obligatory 30 seconds to dry. Although this looks much more matte this time than, or matter. Is there such a word as matter? Well, there is now. Yeah, I'm not too sure whether it's worked or not. Let me have a close inspection. I can still see my pores on my nose. Although it has made my skin look a lot better than with just the primer, because the primer was quite shiny, wasn't it? Although the incorporation of powder into the, mixing the two together has taken that shine away, and it's added a bit of dimension to the primer now. So, it should in effect be able to fill the pores in a little bit more. So what I need to do now is just... So beautiful ones. Now we need to seal off the deal. So again, make more of your paste. And because this powder is so cheap, you can make as much of this as you want. Again, I ought to put that here this time so you guys can see what I'm doing out there, shouldn't I? Or oughtn't I? Get your English right, man. So, well, there's way too much primer there, but again, mix the two together, and they don't accept each other very well to start off with. You've got to work at it a little bit, I suppose. And then, and because the powder's still wet, it slides onto the skin, that paste, and now the two have married together. And this time I'm just sweeping it on. So really odd sort of feeling on the back. It feels a little bit waterproof and yet not at the same time, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't make any sense to anyone out there, because I don't tend to make sense most of the time. Right, so beautiful ones. That's two applications of oh wow, nah, it hasn't. Can you see it's it's not as good as when we just use the, oh hang on, I suppose if you finger blend it in, it has filled in my pores though, hasn't it? And it's created sort of a matte sort of look as well. So I guess now if we just went in with foundation over, a powder foundation, a wet or a powder foundation using a soap brush, what I'm trying to say in my usual waffly way is because the powder and the primer mixture together has actually now filled in my pores. Anything we put over there will just glide on and hide the fact that I have got massive crater-like pores on my face. Poor me. I guess, beautiful ones, that the proof will be in the testing, won't it? So this is the Facefinity Powder Compact Foundation. This is my favourite foundation. I got another one of these when I was in Hampshire because it's just the most phenomenal foundation used with a soaked brush or soaked sponge. Out of the pan, it looks hideous, but you know, you can transform how it looks. Yes, it takes a little bit of work, but so my brush again is wet. So let's just, and I'll be putting this over my nose again, where I've just put my primer and powder mixture. Let's get a good amount of this paste up, shall we? Love doing this sort of thing. It's just my favourite way to, do you know what I mean, to spend a Friday morning. It really is. It's just amazing. So it's quite a lot of that one on there, but, and then simply just apply, sweep it over the nose, the pores which we've just filled with our homemade mixture. Not 100% homemade. I get that, guys. You know, I mean, Mr. Revolution and Mr. E.L.F. made the primer and the powder for us, didn't they? But we've just blended them together. So shall I shut up? Okay, I'll shut up. Clean off straws. Now then, beautiful ones, you will need to give the powder, the water time to evaporate from the foundation, and that way it helps to bond with the skin and give you that second sort of skin look. And that's still wet. Actually, I'm gonna put that on about a minute ago. So let's have a little look and see. Wow. Yeah, it's definitely filled in most of the pores on my nose, isn't it? Obviously, when we first put it on, it looked really white, and you could actually see the pores which had been filled in by the white paste, couldn't you? Although just by going in with foundation over the top, you see that one just there, they're scars, they're not actually open pores, so there's nothing we can do to fill in scars. But what do you think? Now, I'm not too sure if it's worked or not. I think I prefer the, the method of, applying powder with a soaked brush. It just gave us the most beautiful looking skin, didn't it? And it filled in every pore. And by the way, I removed the Poreless Putty primer before I went in with the soaked brush. So I suppose in some respects, if you haven't got a foundation to hand, but you do have a pressed powder to hand and a brush and water, which is readily available, isn't it, guys? You could get that veil, that perfecting veil, which I got about 15 minutes ago, couldn't you guys? So, well, hang on. I suppose it has... Bear in mind, my nose does resemble a chew toffee most of the time these days, and I don't know what that's all about. Age, I guess, but... yeah. So, beautiful ones, that's today's makeup experiment over and done with. I think we're partially successful, weren't we? I mean, the mixing the powder and the primer together didn't really work. It hasn't vastly transformed my nose and my pores. You guys may beg to differ out there. If you think that my nose now looks airbrushed and it has eliminated the look of pores on my nose, then, do please let me know in the comments. That would be amazing. But this was the most amazing thing I found today, was the fact, that we got the most perfecting veil just from a pressed powder, which costs £5. By soaking up brush. Sat there looking at myself. Sorry, beautiful ones. Very vain. No, I'm not. But I suppose I am a little bit. Right, okay. Just stop this. Okay. That's it today, guys. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. Similarly, leave a comment and do consider subscribing and hit the notifications button to all, and I will endeavour to reply to every single comment left on the channel. If I miss any of them, it's because they've slipped through the net. It's certainly not done on purpose. All that remains is for me to wish you beautiful ones a gorgeous Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Maybe using... oh, upside down. Shall I start that bit again? Maybe. Probably for the best, isn't it, guys? Okay. Starting again, right. Welcome back then, guys. Now, then, why did I say then? Start again? Okay, I'll start again. Why not? I've got loads of time. I've got all day. It's only 10 to 8 in the morning. I've got hours and hours and hours of this ahead of me, guys. Hours of it. Deep joy, eh? Deep joy. If you beautiful ones enjoy...